You're 22 years old. You just got the offer. You think you won. You didn't win. You entered a system, and the system has been running longer than you've been alive, and it knows exactly what it's going to do to you, even if you don't. This is your life. Every rank, every salary, every sacrifice. From the intern who can't get past the lobby, to the partner who has everything the intern wanted, and almost nothing else. Pay attention. Because somewhere in here is a question that Goldman Sachs will never let you stop long enough to ask. By the time this video ends, you're going to understand 3 things nobody tells you before they hand you that offer letter. What you'll earn, what it actually costs, and the one thing the system takes from you so slowly, so carefully, that most people don't notice it's gone until they're sitting in a corner office at 44, wondering who they used to be. Let's start at the beginning. Rank 1, the intern. You're 20. Junior year. You applied at midnight. You practiced your answers through 3 rounds of interviews. You bought a suit specifically for this. You got the offer. 200 West Street. 43 floors of glass and money. First morning, your badge doesn't work. You stand at the turnstile for 90 seconds while people in better suits walk around you. Nobody helps. Nobody looks. You are furniture that hasn't been assembled yet. There are 80 summer analysts, Ivy League degrees, 3.9 GPAs, leadership positions. None of it matters here. Here, you start at 0. Your job is to build models in Excel and not make mistakes. That's it. You work from 9 a.m. until the associate tells you to leave. The associate never tells you to leave before midnight. You make $17,000 for the summer. Sounds significant. Works out to about $11 an hour after tax. The McDonald's across the street pays $16, but you're not here for the money. You're here for the return offer. Week 10. A conference room. 2 minutes, a handshake, and a piece of paper that changes your life. You say thank you with a straight face. You go to the bathroom and call your mother. She cries. You don't. You've already started learning not to. Rank 2, first year analyst. You're 22. Base salary, $110,000. The number looked different before rent, before taxes, before the $4,200 a month studio in Tribeca. That was the cheapest option within walking distance of the office. You make good money. You cannot afford to live like it. The hours are the thing nobody fully explains. Not 60 a week, not 80. You track them for the first month. You stop. The number is too depressing. Your title is analyst. Your actual job is pitch books. 60-page PowerPoint presentations that tell a CEO why Goldman should be hired to run his deal. You build them from templates. You align the boxes. You check that every number matches the model. At 2 a.m., at 4 a.m., at 6 a.m. Your first bonus arrives in January. $40,000. After tax, $24,000. You feel like a god for exactly 1 afternoon. Then the analyst next to you mentions his was $65,000. You spend the rest of the week wondering what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. That's just how the floor works. Ranking is everything. Nobody tells you you're ranking. You just keep performing and hope the number moves. Here's the first thing the system does to you. And it does it so gently, you'll miss it entirely. It replaces your internal scorecard with its own. You used to measure yourself by how you felt, whether you were growing, whether you were happy. Now you measure yourself by the number on a bonus sheet you won't see for another 12 months. Goldman didn't ask you to make that trade. You made it voluntarily. That's the elegant part. Rank 3. Senior analyst. You're 23. Base goes to $125,000. The raise feels meaningless by the time it hits your account because your lifestyle adjusted the moment you knew it was coming. You have a first-year analyst now. His name is probably Connor. He reminds you of yourself 18 months ago. Same nervous energy. Same habit of triple-checking before sending. You were him. Now you're the one sending messages at 2 a.m. about the logo. The associates push work down to you. You push it down to Connor. Connor fixes the logo. You check Connor's work. The associate checks yours. The VP checks the associate's summary. The MD checks the VP's version of that summary. Nobody checks the MD. You start to understand the architecture. Goldman doesn't run on talent. It runs on hierarchy. And the hierarchy runs on a single fuel: fear of being the person whose mistake made it into the client deck. But here's what's interesting. You're not afraid anymore. The fear converted into something colder: competence. You are very good at this job, and you are slowly becoming someone your 20-year-old self would not entirely recognize. Promotion review is in 4 months. You already know you're getting it, the MD told the associate. The associate told you, between lines in a hallway conversation you were meant to overhear. That's how Goldman delivers good news. Directly is for bad news. Rank 4, associate. You have an MBA now, 2 years at Wharton, $220,000 in loans. Worth it? The spreadsheet says yes. You're 26. Base, $175,000. First year bonus, $75,000 if you perform. Total comp clears $250,000. You tell yourself the debt is manageable. The spreadsheet agrees. But the spreadsheet doesn't account for the Sunday night feeling. You know the Sunday night feeling. It starts around 4 p.m. That specific dread that settles in your chest when you remember Monday exists. You had it as an analyst. You assumed it would leave when you got promoted. It didn't leave. It got a name. Everyone on the floor has it. Nobody talks about it. Your job changed. You're not building decks anymore. You're managing the analysts who build the decks. You are the filter between the work and the people who matter. You are also the person messaging analysts at 2 a.m. about the logo. You hear yourself and recognize the sound. You keep going anyway. You work your first live deal, a $4.2 billion acquisition. Your name is not in the press release. Your work is in every number in the press release. You feel something close to pride. The MD gets the tombstone. You get the experience. That's the word they use. Experience. It's the currency they pay you when the money isn't quite enough. And sometimes, quietly, it isn't. Rank 5. Vice President. You're 30. Base, $250,000. Bonus brings you to $400,000 in a good year. You are earning more money than your parents made in their best decade combined. You take them to dinner at a restaurant with no prices on the menu. Your father orders carefully anyway. Old habits. You have a team of 6, 2 associates, 4 analysts. You know their names. You know their weaknesses. You know which one folds under pressure and which one stays until 5 a.m. without being asked. You deploy them accordingly. This is called management. It feels more like chess. Here's what nobody tells you about the VP level. You have arrived at the most invisible rank in the entire building. The MD gets the credit. The analysts get the sympathy. The VP runs the machine. The machine gets none of the credit and none of the sympathy. You haven't originated a deal yourself yet. That's the wall between VP and MD. You can execute anything. You need to prove you can sell. Selling means relationships. Relationships take years. You don't have years. You have a performance review in 6 months. You start taking clients to dinner. You learn to talk about golf even though you don't play. You buy clubs. You take lessons. This is also called management. Rank 6. Managing Director. You originate your first deal, a $2.1 billion merger. You brought in the client. You made the call. You sat across from a CEO and convinced him Goldman was the only choice. You're 38. Total comp, $1.2 million. The number stopped meaning anything around $600,000. Above that, it's just a score. Proof that you're winning a game you can no longer fully explain. Your name is on the tombstone now. You send the analysts who built the model a thank you email. 2 sentences. It takes you 4 minutes to write because you've forgotten how to say something without it sounding transactional. Your daughter's school play was on a Thursday. You watched the recording on a flight to London. She was the lead. She was very good. You told her that on Sunday. She said, "Thanks, Dad," and went back to her phone. Here's the thing nobody warns you about at this level. The sacrifice doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive as a single dramatic moment where you choose your career over your family. It arrives as 100 small absences. A dinner rescheduled, a weekend cut short, a call you meant to make that became a voicemail that became background noise. And by the time the accumulation is visible, you're too far in to do the math on what it cost. Stop here. Because this is the thing the video has been building toward. Goldman Sachs doesn't break people, it replaces them. The 22-year-old who walked in with the broken badge and the nervous energy and the genuine excitement about what the world might hold. That person is gone, not destroyed, replaced. Gradually, methodically, with rewards at every stage so that you never felt the exchange happening. The system is not cruel. That's what makes it so effective. It gives you exactly what you asked for. The money, the title, the recognition, the tombstone with your name on it. What it takes in return is the question you never had time to ask. Who was I before I was good at this? Goldman doesn't need you to be happy. It needs you to perform, and it will find someone who performs whether you stay or not. The system was here before you arrived. It will be here after you leave. That's not a criticism. That's just the architecture. Rank 7. Partner. There are 400 partners at Goldman Sachs. Out of 45,000 employees. You are one of them. You're 44. Compensation last year, $4.8 million. The year before, $3.2 million. You have everything the 22-year-old with the broken badge wanted. The office, the number, the car that doesn't need to be practical. You also have a divorce, a son in college who texts on birthdays and major holidays, a doctor who uses the word stress the way other doctors use the word cancer. Carefully, with follow-up questions. You sit on committees. You approve deals you didn't build. You mentor MDs who remind you of yourself at 38. Hungry, certain, slightly hollow behind the eyes, in a way they haven't noticed yet. You are the most successful version of the person you set out to become. You're not sure that person, and you are still the same. Here's the part where most videos tell you to work harder, invest smarter, or take the Goldman lessons and apply them to your 401k. That's not what this is. The real question this video is asking, the one Goldman will never stop you long enough to hear, is simpler than that. What are you optimizing your life for? Not your career, your life. Because Goldman has already answered that question for itself. It is optimizing for performance, for perpetuation, for the next deal. It has thought about this longer than you have and more clearly than you have. And if you walk in without your own answer, the system will hand you one. Gradually, pleasantly, with excellent compensation along the way. The people who come out of that building intact, and some do, are the ones who walked in knowing what they were willing to trade and what they were not. They treated Goldman as a tool, not an identity. They use the system without becoming it. That distinction is everything. Somewhere right now, someone is submitting an application at midnight. Good GPA, 4 clubs, 1 internship that wasn't Goldman. They think they're about to begin a career. They don't know yet that they're about to begin a negotiation, one where the terms aren't written anywhere, and one side has been doing this for over 150 years. The machine doesn't stop. It just gets new parts. The only question worth asking before you become one of them, do you know what you're trading? And do you believe it's worth it? Because Goldman already knows your answer. The question is, whether you do. If this video changed how you think about ambition, career, or what it actually costs to optimize for money, share it with someone who's about to make that choice. And if you want to go deeper on the financial systems, the psychological architecture, and the hidden rules of how elite institutions actually operate, subscribe. That's exactly what this channel is built for.